What's going on, VitalSyntax here, and today I want to talk more about the War Z. Now, we don't have any gameplay for this game yet, so I just decided to throw in some DayZ gameplay. This is me up at the Northwest Air Base getting a couple murders on a couple of the players that I encountered up there. But anyway, I want to talk about some features I'd like to see in the War Z. Some of these are features that I've thought of myself. Some of them are ones that I've picked up from other users over at the official forums at the warz.com, as well as the subreddit for the War Z. So let's go ahead and just jump into the first one here. The first one, and this is actually one that one of my friends had thought of, is that players will become zombies. So basically the way this would work is, let's say you're playing through the game and you've acquired a couple of really good items, say a pistol, an axe, and an M16. And a bunch of food, and then let's say you get killed by zombies specifically. Obviously, if you get killed by another player, that's a different story, but let's say you get killed by zombies and they eat you. Essentially, you're going to turn into a zombie. Now, you don't have to be killed by a zombie, because in the War Z, the way it works is that when you even get bit by a zombie, you actually have to find a cure for the disease, or else you'll slowly turn into a zombie. At least that's kind of what's been rumored, and I think that's a cool concept as well. So if you get bit, you're kind of in a hurry to find a cure, or else you're essentially going to die. And when you do die from a zombie bite, or from actually being killed by a zombie, then I think that your player, that character, should actually turn into a zombie. And all of the items that were on that character should stay on that character. That way there's kind of a reward for killing zombies, because you never know when you might come across, an actual player. Now keep in mind, I'm not saying that you should control a zombie. I'm saying when you die, you should go make a new character, and that old character that died should stand up and start walking around like a zombie. And I think this would be a really cool concept, because it would, like I said, encourage people to go out and kill zombies and slay zombies, on top of the fact that there's already incentives to do that. But there's always a chance that you might run into a zombie that used to be a player, and he has like an M16 or super rare items on him that would be incredibly awesome to find. So I think it would be a really cool concept. The next one I want to talk about is a bounty board. Now, I think they've already said that they're going to have some type of system like this, but I kind of want to expand on the basics of what I've heard already. So I think the way that this could work is, let's say a player kills another player. That player is the player who got the kill is going to become a bandit. Now, that doesn't necessarily that they mean that they're going to change their skin or the look of the character, like in DayZ. They did that for a little bit, and then they removed that feature, which I personally kind of liked it. And they ended up just adding like a heartbeat sensor, so when you hover over another enemy player, you can hear your heartbeat increase, which I think is a cool concept as well. But I think it'd be cool is if a player becomes a bandit, the player that they killed has the option to post a bounty, and that bounty would be posted on a bounty board inside of a safe zone. And if you don't know what the safe zones are, then watch a different video, either one that I've covered about the basics of War Z or somebody else's, because I'm not going to explain exactly how those work, but they're basically, you'd have a bounty board, and you could post a bounty to the bounty board in the safe zone, and other players could say, hey, this guy's out there, here's his username, maybe here's a screenshot of what he looks like, type of thing. Or here's like a description of what he looks like, and he killed me here with this type of weapon, blah 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 blah. And you could post a bounty, and you could post a reward as well. And I don't know if the rewards would be coming out of your pocket, or if they'd be coming out of the NPC's pocket, but that would actually kind of give people the incentive to go out and kill bandits. So you would find a bounty, say in the safe zone, and you want to go out and get revenge for this guy that got killed by a bandit. You could go out with a group of buddies and go like bandit slaying, essentially becoming like a police officer, a marshal for that that settlement or that safe zone, and you're kind of protecting all the people there by going out and killing the bandits. And you could get a reward, whether it's in cash. Also, you get to keep all the items of the bandit that you killed, and you don't become a bandit yourself, because like I said, if you kill another player, you should become a bandit. But if you kill another bandit, you shouldn't necessarily become a bandit. It's only really when you kill another player, because a player and a bandit should be separate. If you're a player, that means you haven't killed another player. If you're a bandit, that means you have killed another player. Essentially, making it so that it's not always a good idea to kill another player, because it's going to make you either, one, become a bandit, and also two, they might post a bounty for you, and now people are out to get you. So I think that'd be a really cool concept, and it kind of reminds me of like the Old West type of setting, which I think was really cool. time period. So next, let's talk about vehicle bindings. Okay, so they have announced that vehicles are going to be in the game, and vehicles were also in DayZ. Now, one of the problems I had with vehicles personally is that they're tied to a server. Obviously, all your other items like your weapons, your backpack, and all your inventory is tied to your character. That means that you can jump from server to server and have no issue with moving your items from server to server. Now, the problem comes with vehicles or tents or server items that are actually stored on the server. If you find a car on a server, if you switch to a different server, that car isn't going to be there, at least in DayZ. And that's kind of an issue for people that don't own their own server, aren't playing always on the same server, or want to switch servers because a friend maybe is playing on a different server. And that can be an issue. So I think there's a couple ways they can solve this. One is that you have some type of garage. So imagine a garage in a safe house, and you can drive your car in there, and it's stored. That way, nobody can steal it. And if you switch servers, go to that garage, your car is there. You could drive it out of the garage. You can go drive wherever you want. Obviously, those garages would be in the safe house, in the safe zones, in the cities, and stuff like that. I think that'd be a really cool concept. There are a couple issues with it. Number one is that nobody can steal your car, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing. But in DayZ, for example, if you find somebody else's car, you can just hijack it and take it away, which I think is kind of a cool concept. And same with like a tent. If you find somebody else's tent, you can take their items. So maybe they could have a similar system in War Z that they have to DayZ, where it is still tied to the server, so you can only use that vehicle on that server, which I personally don't like. I like the garage idea a little bit more. But if they do it so that they're tied to servers, then maybe have some type of key and lock system. So let's say you repair a car that you found that was broken, and you get gas and stuff in it, and you want to log off the server. Well, if somebody just comes up and steals your car while you're not even there, that's not really fair, and it's kind of frustrating. So maybe you could have like a lock system. So if you're the person that repaired the car, then you're the owner of that car, and you get like keys to it. Not necessarily actually getting keys technically, but you're essentially the owner of that car, and you have, figuratively, you have the keys to the car. So if another player comes across that car and wants to take it while you're logged out of the server, there's a little bit of protection in the sense that they have to either have a really high skill in the skill tree on like the mechanics or engineer side, where they can pick a car and then actually like jump start it without the keys, or maybe they can find like a lock pick set or something, or some type of rare item that allows them to pick cars and pick locks on cars. And this could also transition over to tent and storage bindings, which is another issue that DayZ had, where if you put items in a tent, in some type of storage area, they were tied to that server, which really sucked, because once again, if you wanted to switch servers to go play with another friend, or say that server's down, you can't play on it, or even if that server restarts and you lose all the items in the tent, which happened quite a bit in DayZ for me, that's obviously a huge issue. And this could also be fixed in the same two ways that I talked about for vehicle bindings. For example, you could have a storage / a bank area in each town, in each safe zone, where you could go and store your different items, and you're the only one who can access those items. And if you switch servers, you can still access those items from the bank area. Or you can maybe have some type of lock system within a tent. I know you can't obviously put like a padlock on a lock, or on a tent, but imagine you had like a chest or a safe box inside of a tent, and that's where you actually had all the items, and you had a lock on there. And once again, if a user found your tent on that server, they couldn't just take your stuff while you're there, because that kind of sucks. There's at least some type of protection in the way that they have to either have a high-end skill to be able to pick the lock, or they have to have a lock pick set, which would be a rare item. So, moving on to guns and ammo rarity. So I think that guns and ammo both should be extremely rare in this game. And I know some people have different opinions on this, but let me explain why I think this should be. Number one, I think that it will kind of cut down on the player killing. Obviously, it's a lot harder to run up to another player and beat him to death with a baseball bat than it is to snipe him a mile away with a sniper rifle. And in DayZ, most of the player killing is done by snipers. They're overlooking like a Cherno or Electro and just sniping players over and over and over. And yeah, that's a great part, and I think banditry and killing other players is a huge part of DayZ and definitely needs to be in War Z. But I think that weapons and ammo should be a lot more rare, and it should be a lot more rewarding when you actually find them. Yeah, they're by far the best tool to kill another player. Also, I think melee weapons make the combat against zombies a lot more dangerous. and a lot more intense. Obviously, if you're just at a range, you can just unload a couple bullets onto a zombie. It's not really dangerous at all. There's really no chance that that zombie is ever going to get you if you just have a gun to shoot him down with. If you have a baseball bat or a cleaver or a sword or something, you know, like, I don't know, some kind of a samurai sword, I'm imagining, then you actually have to get up close and personal, and there's always a chance that you're going to get bit or attacked by that zombie. Now, I also think that the sound effect of a gun should be extremely loud, more so than in DayZ, and I think you should attract tons of zombies, so that there's more of a danger in firing your weapon than there is in DayZ. If you fire your weapon and you're at a far enough distance in DayZ, then there's no chance that a zombie's going to come get you. Yeah, another player might hear the shot type of thing, but zombies aren't even a factor in DayZ after you kind of get past the initial grind of the game and unlocking, you know, the map and at least one type of gun. After that, zombies aren't a danger at all. The only thing that you have to worry about is another player, and I think the zombies in WarZ should be more dangerous. They should be doing more damage. They should be in a vastly higher number of players or of zombies. And I don't like the zombies in DayZ, how they run like at 50 miles per hour after you, but you can still outrun them. I think that they should be in WarZ. I think there should be a huge number of zombies. So it's more about worrying about getting surrounded than it is worrying about running away. And I don't think zombies should be able to sprint. I think it's more of a walking or jogging type of mechanic for the zombies themselves. Alright, so that is basically all I want to talk about. Just review real fast. Players becoming zombies, a bounty board, vehicle binding, tent/storage binding, guns and ammo being more rare, and zombies being more dangerous. So feel free to leave any features or ideas you have down below, and also make sure to go check out the subreddit for the WarZ as well as the official forums over at thewarz.com to leave your info and feedback and feature ideas in those locations too, because there's always a chance that a developer might see them and like your idea and maybe include it in the game. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to give me a like or a favorite, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.